How to pass your ACCA SBR exam first time with a pass mark of 61% and getting all of the studying done and that exam passed in only 10 weeks. Well, if you have your SBR exam, you are in the right place because Georgie has kindly come onto the channel today to walk and talk us through how he did it. So, Georgie, feel free to introduce yourself, my friend.
First of all, I started studying accounting at university, and that's where I got my ACCA exemptions. And afterwards, I'm now working with my employer, and I'm studying ACCA at the same time, passing 11 exams so far, and I've got two more left.
Nice. I should have said that at the start of the video and working at the same time, Georgie. Well, we're going to have lots of students out there who are wanting to know how you did it. So think back to the start of the process and that exam. What advice would you give to a student who has got to do the exam in the future? And let us know when you did your studying as well.
Yeah, so the first thing I feel is important for me is getting personal tutelage and getting the right feedback throughout the course. In my best interest, it was good to reach out to Tom Clendon, and having the correct tuition with quizzes and notes and marked feedback definitely helped me a lot. And as well as that, just keeping disciplined. I kept tight study schedules on the weekend, and also after work, I made sure that I put the time in. It all pays off in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really tough exam, 50% pass rate on there. So for every two students who come along to the exam, only one will get through. And if nobody's heard of Tom or you've not come across his stuff, I can link all of his details down below. He's also been on the channel, so definitely check that out. But I mean, let's think back to that exam, Georgie, that you did for the SBR. How did it go on the day? Lots of students struggle with time management. Whew, how did you get through it?
First of all, James, I think it's important to simulate the exam conditions when you practice beforehand. What I did is, once going through the tuition, straight away I began to time myself on the practice exams,
Mhm.
and especially on the ACCA Study Hub. There's plenty of resources, plenty of beneficial resources that I could use to help in my benefit. And I think when it came to the exam, I just remembered the planning phase as well. I think is so important to plan because when you know the mark breakdown per question, you know
Mm.
what time to allocate and the portion which tells you, okay, when I finish question one in groups, I know when to move on to the ethical question. So with Tom, we kept a very tight schedule on minutes and when to move on.
Nice. Well, you did touch on the groups part there and the ethics. A question I always get all the time about SBR is which question do you start the exam on? Do you go for the big groups question first, or do you start with ethics, or do you go question three and question four with those sort of standards and topical areas? How did you do it, and how did it work best for you?
That's a very good question, James. So I would like to say that I started with groups because groups was my strongest topic, and learning about the non-controlling interest, the shareholding, it was very beneficial for me. And I think once you know how to calculate goodwill and
Mhm.
definitely put it into calculations and explain it into words, that helps a lot. I felt once my time was up on the groups, I straight away moved on to question two. So with question two, James, as well, I felt it's so important to know the ethical pillars,
Yeah.
because to understand how to link a theoretical question and then incorporating it with the ethical objectives is really key in the exam, you know. And with that, on both requirements, you should look to use the words and recommend and use those professional marks in the exam. You know, you've got to pick up the objective that the marker's asking you. You know, you've got to touch upon it and look who the question is addressed at in the
Mm.
ethics part. I think many students, especially I read this in a lot of examiners' report, didn't pick up that the questions address certain members of staff
Yeah.
in the scenario given. So some might mention, you know, how did the manager feel, or what incorrect actions did the manager take? And it's not actually the junior accountant, for example,
Mm.
in my exam. So a lot of students just by not reading the requirement can trip up on that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I can only reiterate that when I mark some feedback from students, or I should say the mock exams, they'll write pages on there. They'll write loads and loads of stuff, but it doesn't actually answer the requirement, or they don't use the company name, or they don't use some of the buzzwords in the requirement. I go, you've written all this stuff, but I'm sadly going to have to give you no marks for it on there. But that is the level and the standard that is expected in this SBR exam, and the jump up to doing a professional exam. I've got to get on record and say it is seriously tough, which nicely brings me on to another question. What mistakes do you think you made, even though you passed the exam, that if you had to do it again, you would maybe change or look to do differently? What do you think you'd say, oh, I could have done that a bit better?
Yeah, definitely. My weak areas were in cash flows specifically. I know that's a topic many students struggle with when doing the SBR exam, and
Mm,
I wish I gave it more thought because I did more so of the numerical aspect of cash flows, remembering the operating, the financing, but not knowing how to link it to a scenario. I think that's very important, and especially analyzing cash flows, I think will be a key topic that I would revisit. And as well, in my exam, there was a requirement to discuss as well. So I wish I could have learned more about the advantages and the disadvantages of cash flows as well. So just maybe touching upon the requirements with the
mm,
knowledge and mending it together would have been a bit better.
yeah.
And yeah, I think another aspect which is more common in the ACCA world now, we have touched upon an aspect of AI, environmental
Mm.
sustainability, and that's a key area where I wish I had more time on. I did read articles and many technical articles in that aspect about EMAS and ISO 900, but I just wish I did more on that area.
Yeah, I would say for any SBR student who is starting out, like day one, maybe this is the first video they're watching, do not underestimate how wide the syllabus is and the expectation of like the detail that you have to go into. You touched on before about mock papers, Georgie, as well. Can you remember how many you did? Because lots of students ask me, how many mock papers shall I do, James? How many did you do to pass first time with only 10 weeks of studying?
So I was very pleased to have marked feedback from Tom. So I had two or three marked exams, which really helped me understand, okay, where was I going wrong and what did I need to change in my strategy? Was it my timing? Was it how I answered question? And then I also went into the ACCA Study Hub as well,
Hmm.
and I think I went through about 8 to 10 papers as well on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what I actually did before the exam, I took a week's holiday off because I know this is an important event in my life, and I just had a clock on the top of my room, and every time I looked at it, I made sure I was really strict on my timing. Yeah, I had to get that and simulate that in the exam. It was like I was walking into the exam before it took place in those practice exams. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, if anyone's thinking where are all these SBR resources, again, I will link them down below. Get in touch with me if you want me to send you any other details. But you touched on there the practice platform for ACCA, some of their other resources. Did you also do the exam at home, or did you do it actually in a centre?
So I did it at a center as well. Yeah, I traveled. I just didn't want any technical failures occurring
Yep.
on the day. And I wanted to, to wake up early to be ready and prepared, and that worked out the best it could for me.
Yeah, I'm always a centre guy. Just that is my place. That is where I'm just going to be fully focused on it. And coming back to what I was saying about the technical articles, ACCA resources, what were the best ones that you used along with the practice platform to help you pass?
Well, interestingly, in that topic, I actually used a lot of their resources in, for example, financial instruments. I
Hmm.
felt that they had really good explanations of bonds, of how
Mhm.
to value other dividends and other standards.
Yeah.
In IFRS 9, I felt that was really good. As well, Tom's podcasts are really good. I would really recommend them to students. He is an amazing tutor. He helped me throughout the way. And if I was not understanding something, I asked him about the technical aspect of it. And it really helped me. Yeah, it really helped me when I got his breakdown as well. Especially like, for example, I asked him about goodwill, and when goodwill was negative, I only found out that okay, that's going straight to the P&L. That's a write-off straight away. So it was just these interesting little things could crop up in any exam, but
Mm.
knowing them could be the difference between a mark or two. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, as well, Georgie, I've got to ask you, are there any other final points that you've got to get on record that could help a student to get those extra marks in the exam, to get them the 50 plus? What have you got to say to the students out there?
So I would say really manage your time correctly. Work out and calculate a plan which you will go into the exam and simulate it even before the exam to know what you're doing. Because even though the syllabus is so wide that it's hard to remember everything, and the main thing is that you just keep swimming in that exam, that you just don't give up and you give it your best. Because at the end of the day, an answer is better than no answer. And yeah, I'd say wake up fresh and be ready, and yeah, just remember that time is going against you.
Oh, indeed. And just work your way through the exam because we know some of the areas that are going to come up. Question one is going to be some form of group accounts on there. So cash flow, profit and loss, balance sheet on there. Question two, ethics on there. Sorry, not to give you nightmares, Georgie, about your exam, talking about this on there. So we've got ethics on there. Question number three is, and it's one of those things. You could get some good standards on the day that you know lots to talk about, or you might get one of financial instruments, deferred tax. Question number three is all on those on there. And then number four is more sort of like you might get an up to date technical article. You mentioned about AI, maybe some of the environmental standards. Or to be honest with you, they could throw in something very niche that you look at it and go, hang on, I can't remember even covering that. But does that ring a bell for you, Georgie? Coming back to your revision,
Oh yes, a lot, and a lot about cash flows, and definitely environmental sustainability. Yes, yes,
Fa-
definitely. And
fantastic. Oh yeah, go on.
sorry, another point I would like to make as well. Um, Examiners, or when there's questions in the exam, they might ask, for example, discuss this lease or analyze this lease. So when IFRS 16 question came up about leasing, make sure also to go beyond just getting the present value of the lease. For example, this is just an example, it could work for any standard, but go beyond and say that it in future years it will depreciate and it will accrue costs. Many students I see, and I read from the examiner's article, just leave it at the forefront and say, okay, this is a financial lease. We have to write it as a right of use asset. But they didn't go further and say, it should have been depreciated or the lease should have accrued interest. So that's another key thing that I would say. Always be speculative of what the examiner's going to ask you. There's more to the question than you think.
Yeah, exactly. All those little details, plus you explaining it correctly, are all those little one marks that all add up. And
Yeah.
again, it's just going to get you one closer to getting that 50 plus. But I mean, Georgie, I have to say, a massive, massive thank you for coming on the channel as well. Do you have any other final words of wisdom or best wishes to give to the students who might have their exam tomorrow?
I would say prioritize time and quality over quantity. I think do your best and reach out if you ever need help for James or for any other tutors. Everyone in ACCA is, I'm sure, happy to study and reach out to them. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, I've put all my details and all the other bits we've talked about in the video, guys, down below. And finally, best of luck with your exam. So make sure you subscribe and like for more, and we'll see you in a video soon. Thank you.